Welcome to Gizmo's CNC plasma cutter. To power the machine up, turn on the power strip on the wall. That powers the 3 power supplies in the base of this that started up. And there is a switch underneath here to start the computer. You sort of have to feel for it. It's a button on the front of the computer. The computer's inside that box facing down. And when it first comes up, it's telling you to press F2 to load the default values and start up. So we do that. It's an old XP machine, so it takes a little bit of time to start up. And as soon as the dreaded hourglass is really gone, sometimes it comes back. Oh, looks like it's really gone. Then we can go up here and open up the Giz Plasmas icon here. So double click on that. Mach 3 is the operating system that controls this machine. And we like to see that blue bar going across. That means it's firing up the Ethernet connection that talks back and forth between the machine and the motors. So here's our operating screen. When it first comes up, the reset is blinking at us, which means that those motors are not powered on. And we click once on it, and it becomes happy. It stops blinking at us. And now the motors are active, so we can use keystroke commands to move the torch head back and forth. On the machine, the long dimension is the X dimension, the cross dimension forward and back is the Y dimension, and Z on this machine is just used to raise the torch up and down between cuts. So on the keyboard, the left and right arrows let us move it slowly left and right. If we hold the shift key down first, we can move it rapidly left and right or front to back. If you run it into its mechanical stop, it'll rattle at you. Let's do that so you get the chance to hear what it sounds like. You're not hurting anything, but you're completely losing your accuracy in terms of where you were, because the machine thinks it's still moving. Each one of those ratchets is another step that the motor's trying to make, but since it can't move, you're losing position. So when you're running a job on the machine, you want to make sure that your job is within the limits of the travel of the machine in order to be able to cut it accurately. Okay, so X, Y, Z, the Z move is page up and page down. Up is up, down is down. And that's the basic operation of the machine. When we want to set X0, Y0, let's say we were going to cut a piece out here, and our origin, or our X0, Y0 was over here, we would jog it over to where we wanted it to be, and then on the screen we can click 0x, 0y. So the only thing left to do is to set 0z, and we set this machine, we set Z0 onto a piece of 1/4-inch plywood above your material. So we would page down here. We're doing all of this with the plasma control turned off. So I'm bringing that down until it just brushes that piece of 1/4-inch plywood. And I want to set my Z to 0 right there. So one more step in setting the Z. we want to raise the z-axis with page up to 0.1 or thereabouts. We'll go over to the top drawer and get this little wrench out, loosen these two nuts, and slide this down until it just trips the switch. You can hear the switch click. Tighten those nuts. And now you've set the Z for the thickness of your material. Z0 is at a quarter of an inch above the work, and the switch needs to trip at 0.1 above Z0. So we've set, by moving page up, we've moved it up to 0.1 or thereabouts, and then adjusted this block until it's just coming down against the switch to trip the switch. That switch is essentially pulling the trigger on the torch to turn it on. And then when we're done making that setting, we page up so that we're well away from the switch, someplace half an inch to an inch above the Z0. And the machine's ready to load G-code into.